Hello. Hi, everyone. Hope you are having a wonderful day. So, Swami, if you are there, can you please turn on your camera?
Right.
Oh, hi, Swami. How are you?
I'm good, good. Thanks. How are you, Arjun?
I'm well too. Thanks for asking. So, guys, welcome to today's meetup session on building natural language solutions with Azure OpenAI Service. This event is hosted by Data Couch, and today we are honored to have our SME Vishwanatha Swami as our instructor for this session. So now let me introduce our speaker for the day, Mr. Swami. He is an architect at AIS, which is Applied Information Science, a leading provider of software and cloud solutions. Swami is a certified Scrum Master and leads to DevOps team, overseeing Scrum ceremonies, project deliverables, project requirements, scope duration, and cost definitions. So he possesses extensive experience in designing, developing Microsoft architecture, microservices, deploying services in Azure Service Fabric, Docker, Kubernetes cluster, conducting performance testing, and PCI, PA, DSS certifications. So Swami has also been recognized as a most valuable professional by Microsoft. So we warmly welcome Mr. Swami. We look forward to his insights during today's session. So before we begin, let me take a moment to introduce Data Couch. We are leaders in professional service delivery specializing in generative AI, data engineering, cloud, blockchain, cybersecurity, agile, DevOps, data science-based consulting, implementation, and training. Our offerings including consultancy, custom solution implementation, enablement services, and upskilling and training. In addition to our core offerings, we have proprietary browser-based virtual lab solutions, and we also offer managed service for infrastructure and human capital to meet the unique requirements of organization of all sizes and scales. So we are excited to share that our global footprint has enabled us to transform the career of over 200,000 professionals. Thanks to this growing community of learners, our expertise now spans cutting-edge technologies like Web3, generative AI, big data, DevOps, and cloud. To name just a few where we are continuing to push the boundaries of innovation. So, highlighting our significant achievement, we have successfully partnered with 500 Fortune companies and global system integrators such as Infosys, Accenture, and TCS, as well as a tech giant like Apple, Google, and financial corporation like PayPal, Bank of America, and among others. So, driven by our committed to community and the knowledge sharing, we have established three specialized meeting groups: AI Minds, Generative AI User Groups, and All Things Data. With the membership existing 25,000, our community has participated in over 200 such sessions, covering more than 100 diverse technologies and tools. So we are honored to announce that Confluent has recognized us as the only global education partner for the years 2022 and 2023. This recognition received for the second consecutive year underscores our leadership in providing cutting-edge training and consultancy service on the global scale. As the first training delivery partner for Starburst Data, OneHouse, and Even Store, we are proud to forge and build upon strong partnerships with industry leaders. While some clients' name remain confidential, our collaborations with including a global beverages and snacks multinational, a premium North American payment solution provider, a cutting-edge cyber security and risk management platform, and a retail giant with operation across 5 continents. So now I would like to Swami to take over the session. Swami, over to you.
Thanks, Arun. I think you are able to hear my voice, right?
Yep,
Cool.
we can.
Cool. Let me share my screen.
Yep, sure.
And just a lighter note from the previous session.
Okay.
I remember there were a minimum two questions which wasn't belonging to the particular session which we were discussing, but it was
Mhm.
from some advanced topics. And I will not feel shy to say that no, I don't know. I'm a learner. And I'm
Sure.
100% sure, more than 100% sure the guy who asked this question, he already know the answer. Okay. The way you see, I'm 23 years experience in industry. So if someone is asking some question, I'll know that what he said. So he already know the question, and I'm just a learner. So always I throw this slide saying that I'm learner. Apologize if I don't do any mistakes. So I'm speaking in this session and other session. That does not mean that I know everything. I only know a drop in a big ocean. Okay, so
I
if you really have a question, ask it, but uh, don't try to test me. I will I will not feel shy to say that no, I don't know. Okay, jokes apart. Thanks for joining this, and this is a series which we started with OpenAI, GenAI, and it will be spanning for the next 1 year till end of 2025. We'll see how we can bring other projects apart from this mini tiny projects. Okay, this is my main GitHub link, and also all the speaker series will be in this folder. So today's thing, whatever we are discussing today, it will be checked in by tomorrow morning, because I just want to do a final cut of anything. So it will be in the same folder naming convention. If you see that 1108 and data couch. So this is 11th November, 8th November, isn't it? So it will be 1108 data coach, and this is a session 5. So that's the format I already given. Let's come back and see that what is that we are going to do today. Will be a little bit heavy on the Python side of the program because we were escaping the Python thing since 3 episodes, but we will touch that. And apart from that, we'll do a little bit of deep dive into all three flavors, like a REST API. In REST API, in the sense using the Postman tool, we ourselves can write it, but no need to sweat at all, because when you know that how to do things in Postman, that guy itself will give you a code whatever you want, whether it is a Python or whether it is curl or REST or HTTP client, Golang, Java. I mean, something like a sky is a limit kind of thing. Here there are host number of programming language. When it comes to the REST client, we don't need to sweat at all. If you know that how to eat it with the Postman, we can get the code right from this tool itself. We don't need to do it. So that's the thing. A lot of things for us to cover. Again, I'm just a learner, so apologize if I do any mistake. So that slides are not being shown here. And please fasten your seatbelt, and all the videos will be here in the data couch videos. And we'll start with this today's session. So if you come and see this, a little bit of introduction. So knowledge. This one, build natural language solution using OpenAI, and that's part of the generative AI solution. We directly started with this, and next episodes will be, after this we'll be going through rest of the syllabus of AI102 certification series. And here, if you see, we have already completed this and apply prompt engineering techniques and image generation, as well as the other one, as I was mentioning, on 31st October they have removed that. There was another responsible AI, there was another unit, but they have removed it. So next we'll be focusing on code and RAG implementation before jumping on to rest of the chapters in AI102. That being said, right now we are seeing this build natural language solution, and we'll go to the second unit of that. And here we have already covered it, because we will see that verbally we'll discuss, but when we discussed about the first unit and apply prompt engineering, what all the things which we wanted to do here, which we already covered as part of the apply prompt engineering, and also uh, generating images and a little bit. So we didn't see the Python, the Postman stuff, so which we will see here, and we'll compare that. Now, if you see, we know that how to create it. We did quite a few times. When we come here, go back to the resource group. So we'll not create it, but at least if you want to create a resource, we can click on that, and pretty much we'll be able to do Azure OpenAI. If you search for Azure OpenAI in the marketplace, we search for Azure OpenAI, you'll be able to see. Now you'll be able to see the icon itself has changed. Previously there was a different icon. Now we are seeing the new icon. Okay, that's one thing. And also choose and deploy the model. This piece also we discussed it, but again we'll come back and we'll see that. Now if you see here from the model perspective, I just captured couple of things. Like if you see this, GPT models, so best for natural language understanding, conversation, chart formats, and with some code also. Now the earlier version, the code models used to have a earlier models, but now the this itself is going to provide. If you see here in this one, uh, GPT Turbo 35. Whatever the model which we have already deployed will support the code generation also. And embeddings is the one which I will be parking, but I just bought a paragraph about embedding. We'll look at that a little bit later. But embedding, different families of models are there, and the capabilities also very important. Like where do you want to use a model? Is it only for singleton kind of prompting, or iterative prompting, or do something very specific? So based on your usage, we need to create the model. We need to understand the capability before creating. And when it comes to the naming convention, the older models used to have this text Da Vinci, like it is having what is the thing it is going to do. Okay, its capability. Now the newer models are having the GPT 35. So let's see this here in action. Like if you see this, these are the newer models. Okay, like this one, text, the naming convention is, it's an older model, like text Da Vinci, text Ada. So it used to have the capability, and starts with the capability. Now the latest models are starting with the generation, like GPT 3.5, GPT-4, GPT-4o, like GPT 3.5, GPT-4, GPT-4o. So the generation of the models. So these are the newer naming convention which is being used. And the model deployments also, we have seen that. So pretty much this is very important point. We did it, but again, it's like just like a refresher. Like we can come back here and see when we are searching, if you want to filter, like what is that we want to do it. So industry, let's check the inference. What is that we want to do? So something I want to do a conversational or embeddings or text to image, like we select this. So this particular thing is like we are giving the capability. Yeah, I want to use a model which has got the capability to generate an image based on the text which was provided. So we can go and select what is the kind of thing which we want to do, be it a text to speech uh, or text classification, whatever. Like I will remove this so that we'll specifically see that only text to speech models. So here are two of the models which we can use it for text to speech. We will definitely come back and cover those things as I was mentioning after completing this generative AI chapter. This chapter will come back afresh and we'll cover all these things. Tons and tons of things are available in this chapter. Develop natural language processing solution. It's a huge concept. Tons of knowledge is going to come. We'll come back after some time on that one. So the model capability is very important when you are trying to select. So you need to know that what is that you want to do, and based on that, we have to go and select it. Okay. So that's about choosing a model. And the next thing is authentication. How do we authenticate? Now, when you see this authentication model, we'll see a couple of samples over here. Now, you see in this one, so we'll be using the endpoint as well as the OpenAPI key. In some of the places, at some of the places, we have to give the deployment name also. So the top three important pieces of information is we need to have the resource endpoint. So the resource endpoint we are using while creating the instance of OpenAI client. So we'll use the endpoint. And the next thing is OpenAPI key that is also we are using. And at some time we need to know that where the request has to be routed. Okay, specifies the exact model deployment name to target. So which resource where the request should be routed. So you can see that the deployment name also we are specifying over here. So these are the three important pieces which we needed to use it. So where can we store these three? Okay, just give me a minute. I'll have a glass of water. So most of the people, they'll store that here in either app settings or app settings.dev or test or whatever the environment name. And if you check in that, because right now if you see that this is checking in GitHub or whatever the source control version control system you guys use it at your workplace, then what happens is that get stored inside the VCS. So now that is no more a secret. Now all the people who have access to that particular repo, they'll be able to read it. They definitely go into this, either the app settings or app settings.dev or app settings.test or stage or prod, whatever it is, environment. They'll have these credentials. So I generally prefer not to store anything in app settings whatsoever, dev or test or stage or whatever it is. Some people say that it is dev environment. Now I'm a little bit scared on that. I don't know, might be I'm overthinking, but it's a big no-no from my side. One thing what we can do is we can create a app setting file, app settings.json, and mark this as inside the gitignore file so that this will not be tracked and you can pretty much use it. You will not have this file at all inside the source control, or check the first version and then put it for non-tracking. So any updates will not go into that. The only thing is we need to create a corresponding app settings.example.json so that whatever the structure you are using within your app settings JSON, which is inside the gitignore, that means it is not getting tracked. So whenever you add or remove, please ensure that equally you're coming and modifying this app settings.example.json. And another thing what I generally do is I use the secrets.json. So the secrets.json will be stored outside the source code control location. So that way, what happen is whatever I do it, whatever the credentials are there, it will not be stored here. It will be somewhere else, and you're safe. You can do that. And then the best thing is to store inside the key vault whatever the uh, credentials you are having it, that will be in a centralized location. And if at all the keys has been in rotation, 2 3 applications if it is using, all these applications doesn't need to worry at all, because all these applications go and read the values of that particular key from the key vault. So you don't need to worry. Each individual application do not need to maintain their own uh, their own set of these values. Like two teams are using the endpoint and key, so two teams will maintain maybe the app settings file or secrets.json, whatever it is. Now, what if the key has been compromised for this particular Azure OpenAI service, and the admin has regenerated? Now, two teams, very low, we are taking the number. So both the teams will need to get the copy of that key, and they have to start using it. The other thing what we were discussing is storing this in the key vault, and whenever the key has been compromised, or periodically there will be rotation as part of the rotation cycle. If at all the key has been updated, directly it will be put into the key vault, and all the teams will be able to use it. So that's from the security and authentication perspective. And if you see that the prompt engineering perspective also, this also we have already seen that. So this I can think of, this particular thing can go in the completions, because it's a singleton. I'm not maintaining the chart discussion. I can use this one also, because this is a singleton. I ask some question, it is giving me an answer, and also I'm giving it a one shot sample. I'm giving a sample also. So we'll see that how it behaves in completion and how it behaves in the chart completion. Now see this, this has been categorized. Okay, now let's go and copy all these things and go to the chart, and let's put this here. So it's giving the business. Both the things are doing it. But here, this place is what I feel, this is my personal opinion. This place is what I feel that it generates it generates the output, and we can utilize, we can properly utilize this piece over here. Okay, so let's use this Java or Go. Lot many languages have come now, so we don't need to be tensed on this. Okay, so I think this is the TypeScript. Let me close that. And another thing is, okay, we'll see that. If we come back, and this also we have seen, that's what I was mentioning. Most of these things which we have already covered in those 3 topics. The only thing is it was my mistake that I selected the wrong way to, I reshuffled it instead of going through the documentation. I did in a haphazard fashion. So let me clear this, and now let's come back and use her. Let's ask this question, whatever we are asking it over here, and it should say that it's giving more information than this. Do other AI service support translation too? So this is like a conversational thing. That was a single shot, and this is conversational. We'll see that what is that conversational. It is showing now when it comes to the parameters. Now, if you come to the parameters, you can see that we are saying that how many previous messages has to be sent. So right now we are sending 10 values to that. And what is the max response is 800 tokens. Now I bumped it up to 16,000 tokens. And temperature, top P, these are all things which we have seen. The key thing is the conversation history or a memory. Like if you see this over here, now you see this was a system message. Now we asked the first question, now it replied, and I'm asking the second question, it is replied. So now you can see that this was a singleton and this is a conversational. Now what first we set the system message, this first one, we asked the first query and it gave the answer. Now see this, who is speaking also, you know that. So this is a system message, we are giving the role play to the system. And now user has asked something, the chatbot, or it has, the chatbot has given us this message. Now user is asking a second question and the chatbot is giving the answer. Like it's a chat. Okay, now this is the same thing. I mean, your assistant writing. So we'll try this one also. I can come back here and now instead of this, I'll say your this guy. I'll remove that, clear the chat, and go and the job description. See, it is writing everything. So again, we have to fine tune, giving it more information. Again, this comes into the prompt engineering. So wherever it is asking company name, okay, here if I give the same thing and now if I give it like this, now see this here to ABC Private Limited, and here it said that company name. So it's all what wherever it is giving blank, or it all depends upon our prompt engineering skills or how do we communicate to the model is very important. And this is the iterative model. So first I said that, hey, give me these details with these two lines. It gave it. And then I saw that, oh, company name is missing. So why don't I give company name as part of my prompt? Then it added the, and then I can say that, okay, city and state. So wherever things are missing, we need to go through this and find out, okay, this is like benefit of X days of paid vacation. So something which is configurable or email or wherever you see, you send a prompt, you got the answer output, and then you want to fine tune. Now you'll start iterative. Now on that prompt, how do you fine tune it? Are you going to delete something or give more instructions? So that way, we have to continuously, iteratively, we'll go and add it. So at least we saw to a decent extent, we saw three things. We saw completions. I think in future they might remove the completions. I'm not sure, but I'm just telling you. It's used only for the single turn, and even if it is iterative, it is little bit of painful for us to do it, but it's there. It's a good resource to do it. And we at least looked at, to a decent extent, we looked at the chart and completions. I think almost all the options which we spoke about, and DALI also to a decent extent we spent time last episode. We'll come back to see one of the sample through Postman. We'll do that, and to a decent extent we saw these things. And let me go to that next unit. REST API. So again, whether you do the REST API or through programming, mostly these are the three things which are very needed, like your endpoint, your key, and the deployment name. So the deployment name will be as part of the endpoint, where you'll have your endpoint and so the deployment name, and the API version is also very important. So 2013 but what API version we are using is 2024 0 to 15 preview. So the different API versions. So we need to be extra careful when you're using it. So if you know how to do it with the curl, so that means you should be able to do it with Postman also. Okay, you should be able to do it with Postman also, and we can see this also. Let's see a couple of things how we are doing it now. The completion model is this one. Like we saw that what is in Apple. So this is from the completion model. Now, if you want to do that coding in Python or C sharp or whatever it is, we'll have this one. We discussed it. So if you know how to do it with the Postman, that means you will be able to do it with all these programming languages. So nothing new. So let me close this. So our interest is on this one, and we do have the system role, and we are giving the system message saying that you are a cardiologist, and the user is asking what is a DB. And now if I go and click it, it's going and talking to uh, this particular endpoint where you see this one GPT-40D name. Where is this come from? So you can come back to the deployments, and this one GPT-40D name, this deployment name.
Sorry to interrupt, Swami. Actually,
Yeah.
there are a couple of questions in the chat. Could you please address those?
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem. Okay. Mm, okay. Manjunath. What is the first question? Oh, okay. This one, if you need to use the chart playground feature, will we be charged based on the number of tokens used, or yes, everything is based on the number of tokens? Like if you see that, even if it is completions or chart completions, at the end of this, you're getting charged for 122 tokens. So you can see that prompt tokens is only 22, and the completion tokens is 98. So if you use the playground over here, let's do the same thing in the playground. Let's give it a context saying that you are an expert cardiologist. So come here. I'll save this expert cardiologist. Let me clear this chart, and let's ask what is TB. Okay, you do this. So now it's given this thing. At the end of the day, if you see that whatever it's being done will be charged. And we saw that token tokenizer is a tool which we already spoke about. So if you come back to this, the tokenizer tool, what we can do is we can come back to this, and whatever which we have given here, this and the expert cardiologist. Like if you see this, it's only 4 tokens, but do not get confused at saying that, hey, it charged 22 tokens. It charged 22 tokens because we have given the messages. okay, like a role and other things. Based on that, it will be charging, and whatever the output it has generated. Now, if you take this one and put it as part of the tokenizer, it is coming to 59 tokens. But if you see here, there are other things which it is generating as part of this. So for everything, it is charged. Okay, so the next question is, uh, okay, I will save it. In this one, I didn't save it, but if you see uh, in this demo script, there is a link for the source code. So that is in this. Uh, it takes you to this repo, which is called as AIML 2024. So what I'll do is inside this AI102 demos, I will save it here as part of this. There'll be one more folder I'll create and I'll save it. Okay, just make a note of this particular repo. I will store this by, I mean, I'll check in the code by tomorrow. I mean, everything, all the previous demos code, everything is being checked in here. If you see the CS version, the previous last week also I did some updates, even that's there. So everything will be inside this. So I'll save it. Okay. So I think I will go ahead with the content. So now coming back to the, yeah, this chapter, this we have seen it. Okay, this is the message pieces. What we can do is, if we have this messages, we can take this message and come back to this postman, and you can see this, all the messages are here, and we'll copy this message from here and we can drop it all the way, instead of this cardiologist, all the way till here, all the way till here, and beautify that, and now send the response. So we're using the sample, whatever it has given. So you see this one. So we already given the system message and the first question and its answer, and we are asking about the second question. You can see the role is user. User is asking the second question, but it would have sent it is sending the previous context, isn't it? What was the first question from the user and what was the answer from the assistant? Now it has got the memory. Okay, this was the discussion, so it knows that what is that it is doing. So I'll not save this, and the DALI one, will see we'll see a couple of these things, and it is really creating wonders. So let's wait. Squirrel on the motorcycle. I mean, we did this in the previous episode, so we'll see this. Okay, squirrel on this. Now I'll say cat and mouse. I didn't give anything else apart from this, but see this, it is using its imagination. And this afternoon I created one cat and mouse image. I myself was pretty much stunned to see the imagination and intelligence what these AI models is having. Now see this, the second one. It is so beautiful. I mean, the one which I created in the afternoon was on the fields, and there was a sky blue and a little bit of clouds. And mouse was seeing from this side, and the cat was on this side. Serious imagination. You see this? It takes days for us to create, and it took only few seconds for us to get this done. So I was watching some stand-up comedy before doing this session. This side. Oh, sorry. I'm at the wrong place. Okay. So this is, we can do it. Embedding and parking it, because that will derail us. So now how do we use SDKs? This they are the same thing, like a getting started one. We can use the C sharp, and we can use the C sharp, or we can use the uh, Python one. Now, one thing I felt, maybe it's me, but I felt the version number is very important, which was mentioned here in this exercise. We'll see that this exercise also, if you see this, they clearly mentioned it, beta 14, but there is stable version also, but it has a breaking change. So you need to be extra cautious when you're doing this one. We'll stick to Python and we'll come back and look at the C sharp version also. Now here in this Python version, you it clearly mentioned that just go and install the OpenAI, but no, that's not we do. But I have given it here in this documentation. I'm creating all these things, so we have to explicitly mention like what is this version, because what happened is if we go ahead and use the other version, so that might might have the breaking changes. Mostly I'm thinking that there will be a breaking changes, because uh, five. Okay, so this is the one. You can see this how it's releasing it. You'll have this now. This one, what is that we are using? 1.30. Now if you go and see the you go and see this version, it will be little bit different. Now if you go and see that we are using very old one, so definitely, I mean, using this very old and now going back all the way, if you are going and using something very different. Now if you come back here, this package is gone and we need to stick to the newer one. But as of now, what I'm telling is, for the samples to work, I was sticking to the game plan, what was mentioned and what is working. So let me come back to this sample and let's discuss deactivate. So what is that is I have to check in. It is, if you see, AIML, the folder, and this is today's branch, and these are the one which is on my local. So I'll check in by tomorrow morning so that you'll have this version also in the same folder. So I created a README file, so it will give you a decent instructions to start with. So we'll create a virtual environment. So that is this one. So do not store it in your source code. Ensure that that is always in the git ignore file. So please don't store this. And then we need to install these two things, pip install this. So let me come back here. And before starting, we need to activate. So it is in the .venv, isn't it? .venv, and under scripts there is something known as activate. Now, if you want, you can come back and see that what is this venv under the scripts. You can see the different things in activate. So you can see this is bash, and this is batch file, and one is this PowerShell. So whether you're in which operating system, everything is covered for you. Whether you want to use the bash or batch file or PowerShell, you will be able to use it. So that's what, when I said activate, that means you are executing that script and you will see that the virtual environment name over here. Now you can do pip. If I do this list, it shows that what all the things which are available. So which I already captured it here in the requirements text. You can see this, all these things are already been captured in this. Suppose if you grab this folder, all you need to do is execute the line 19, because I already did that pip freeze.requirements.txt. So all the requirements, whatever is needed, as we saw that pip freeze list, all these things has been captured and it's there in the requirements. And all you need to do is, you don't need to go through this pane. You need to create a virtual environment, activate it, and if needed, do a pip upgrade, and then directly execute line number 10, 11, and 13, and directly execute 19. You don't need to go through 15, 16, and 18. That's it. Okay. We do that. And inside that, I just created a src folder. We have two files. So first, let's look at the first one. We see this first one. It's very simple. The same sample which we will see here. So, oh, is it a C# version? Ah, no, it's Python. So you see this, you are getting from OpenAI import Azure. And also there is no instructions for this one here. If you see that, we directly started using the reading and using this one. All these things. I mean, this is hard coded, but even in the MS Learn this thing, I couldn't find that instructions for the .NET, so I just added that also here. You do that pip install python.env. That means it reads the values from the env file. So this is the one, python.env. You can see that read key value pairs from .env file. So that's what you need to have, these two packages. I just mentioned it here, which is already captured. So let's come back and see this one. It's pretty simple. We are not hard coding any of these values. We are reading it from the .env file. And please ensure that .env app settings are key things. So do not check into your source code. Those are very, very important, and it's like a keys of the kingdom. Now we have the endpoint key and the API version. As you have seen that here, we have this API version. That's also very key. We'll have the API version, and the deployment name is here. So we have the deployment name here. So, and just we're creating the client and chart and completions. You can click on that. So it takes you to this resources.chart. You can get into the chart. You can go and read what is that is being done inside that. So you have everything, right? So we'll see that. We have the system role. Now we can come and correlate that with the chart playground. So system message is something which you're giving it here. Okay, so let's try this. Why don't we try this? You're an expert cardiologist instead of helpful assistant. Let's say that you're an expert cardiologist. And what was the query we asked? What is TB? We asked, what is TB? Let's come back over here. And how do we execute? Py and then A1. Okay, Py is a Python launcher. So it is going to take care. Now see, in the context of cardiology, TB stands for so and so, so and so. We got a similar response when we tried that in the chart, previous completions. So exactly, that's first sample, which I didn't get time to bring other samples, but which I'll be able to cover in the next session. Most of the things, now that we had a kickstart, it will not take much time for us to get the things work. Uh, I was lazy. It's my mistake. So again, let's see the second sample. So the second sample is from this one, the assignment, the official lab, Microsoft official lab. So this is the old story which we did thousand and odd times. So we'll not spend even a single minute on that. Now, how do you develop this? we'll come back to this one. And the first thing is very important is we need to do a pip install. And as I was mentioning, I've given the instructions and everything is in the requirement.txt. All you can do is pip install -r requirement.txt. It's going to install. And if you need the base code, you can go into this repo. It will be available here in this repo, and you can clone. I mean, this is the base version. On top of this, whatever the instructions which was mentioned there, we need to work on that. Like if you see that, this has got a base code. On top of this, we will be following the instructions. Now this is what this guy is using, this python.env, but the instruction is not there. That's a different story. But this is an existing code they have already given here. On top of that, we need to work. So assume that that's what we are doing. We install OpenAI and python.env. And the next thing is do an import. Come back over here. That's line number 3. And the next thing what we have to do is initialize OpenAI. That's line number 17. We're initializing, and the system message is line number 24. Okay, so what is happening is here, this particular code, previously it was like this. So when we do the chart completion here in the line number 50, is to send the model temperature max tokens as well as the messages. The messages were hard coded. That means it's like a single turn. Like you ask a question, it will give you an answer. Now then it forgets. I mean, it doesn't have the memory like what is that which is happening. Now here we need to understand this is running in a loop, do while loop. This particular piece is happening in a do while loop here, while true. Until you quit out of this, everything goes in the do while loop. So we are adding the system messages. Like if you see that initially the messages array has got role, system, and content. Now we can come back and correlate with the previous one where we saw here this one, like you have a system, you have user, you have assistant, and a user. So similarly, you're entering a system message, and then you're coming, user is asking a question, system message, user is asking a question, which you're adding to this one. And whatever the message which is generating, that is from the assistant perspective. Now that message is also you're adding. So now what is happening is you're stacking all the previous conversations also and sending it, so that the AI model, when it is generating, it knows that what was the previous discussion which happened with this guy. And you need to be extra careful on this one, because what is happening is you might be bombarded with this tokens, because you're sending all the messages. Now you're not keeping a track, then you're gone, because you know how many messages you need to save, and you need to have a mechanism where you need to delete the previous messages, and you need to calculate what is the token. Like if you see in the previous the chart one, if I go to parameters, it says that past messages to include. Okay, so include 5 user queries and system queries, system responses, and 5 of the users messages. Now imagine a scenario where you're chatting since past 10 minutes. There would have been hundreds of questions and hundreds of answers, but what you're specifically specifying here is just send the past 10. So if you're asking a question which is from the previous message, you might not get a proper answer, but we need to keep track of that, because you're getting charged for everything. So when you're doing these kind of conversational thing, you need to understand that there should be a cutoff, like how many messages you need to send it. I mean, it depends upon your pocket. If you want to send 100 messages, and that's what business needs. That's what it is. No questions asked. It's all depends upon what the business needs. It's not we as a programmers decide that, oh, we are sending these many tokens, we'll do a cutoff. No, it's not based on us. Like if business needs most of those things, like put it as a grounding thing or send the messages, the previous conversation, on top of that there is a grounding. We can do anything and everything, but need to be very careful from the cost perspective. And the cost perspective will come only if business says cost. If business says that you have a free hand, there is no cost restriction, but the quality of the answers and the accuracy is more important, then we need to stick to the game plan. So that's about this one. So let's execute this. There's a wonderful queries which I really liked it. Here we'll see this. Let's go to the bottom of this. Here, this one after modifying this at the bottom. Yeah, these are the two good questions, but I see a little bit of difference between both the answers. You see this when I asked the second question in C sharp, it particularly gave me all these details, but for some reason I'm not seeing that in the Python version. I need to look at it. What is that which I'm missing? But let's see that. Where is a good hike? I'll come back over here. The first question. And let's compare this. Now if I come back over here and let's see. Oh, okay. See this. Okay, the C sharp one is giving a little bit different. It's not entirely different, but both are talking about the same thing, but a slight difference. I see that both are talking about the Table Rock Trail. It says 4.4 miles. This C sharp guy is saying that 4.8. I'm definitely sure it's not the programming language which is troubling us, but maybe the model is giving based on the temperature. Based on the temperature, yeah, we said the temperature is 7, which has got a little bit of imaginary things which are going to come. Okay, that's a different thing. So that's the first question. And the second question what we will send is, how difficult is the second hike? And this is what we pasted. And again I saw that it's slight different. It is giving a little bit of verbiage, but whereas this program, I mean both are same program, no difference. It's a straight lift from Microsoft Docs, but the response is this one. Okay, it's unexpected because we are using the temperature, so it has jumped out. Okay, so also I just created the C sharp flavor, but I need to do a facelifting of that, like how I created a separate method to do this. So I want to do that very similar to that, but just give me time, I'll give it. But at least we can execute this and we'll see with the same two queries before we closing down today's bridge. Let's come back over here. What? Okay, it's executing. What happened? Sometimes. Okay, let's come in here. I pasted it. So it's sending a request. And you see this. So see this might be the temperature is around same 7. Okay, that doesn't matter. The model is giving it. It's nothing to do with the C sharp programming or Python programming. It's the model is giving. And now we said that the second I kit again it is giving in a numerical value. And I do a quit and I'll stop this. Okay, so that's it from my side for this session. Do we have any more queries? Okay, some sessions to brochure. What is that, Mayank, you're looking at? Basic in the sense, the previous sessions, or if you're speaking about the previous sessions, those videos are here. But as I was mentioning, there are two more sessions with which we will wind up this particular chapter of Gen AI. Then I'm going to come back from starting, all the way from starting till the entire syllabus of AI 102. Okay, cool. So I think, Arjun, there are
Yep.
no queries. We can close the bridge.
Yep. So, Swami, thank you so much for your time and the session because it was really helpful session for us. And I hope the everyone enjoyed the session. So before we conclude, I kindly ask everyone to take a moment to complete the feedback form which is shared in the chat. So your feedback is invaluable in helping us enhance future sessions. And I would like to extend my sincere thanks to Swami for delivering such an informative and engaging session for today.
Hello.
So I trust. Oh, okay. So I trust that you found the insight as valuable as I did. And for those who missed any part of this session or wish to revisit the material for today's session, a recording will be available on Data Couch's YouTube channel. The link to the recording will be shared on the social media channels and in our monthly newsletter. So if you have any further question or would like to explore additional resources, please feel free to reach out to us at hello@datacouch.io. So to stay updated on our upcoming sessions and access more valuable content, please subscribe to our social media channels and join our meetup groups. The relevant links are available in the chat. So you can look into this. So, thank you for your participations today. We look forward to welcoming you at the next event. So, wishing you a very wonderful day and have a great weekend. Bye. Take care.
Happy weekend, folks. Good night.
Yeah.